Well, I got an announcement to make. One more. One more win. One more win. Lakers win. Some way, somehow. We won game 4. And I don't know, in case you guys don't know, the Red Cup is out. They've driven me to drink. There's nothing but cranberry juice in here, but they've driven me to drink. Let me just let you all behind the curtain real quick. I'm gonna give it to Chaz. I text Chaz. When did I text you?
First quarter.
I said Chaz. I said prediction, and Chaz said, "Yo, I'm gonna pull up exactly what my man said, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because if there was ever a reason to trust the prophet, tonight was the night. I'm gonna give you my piece, and then I'm gonna let him talk, and I'm gonna show you all the ways that Chaz was right tonight. But I was so nervous because we were getting taken advantage of, and he said Lakers come alive late. AD finally showed some fight. He said Lakers will come alive late. This is in the first half. And how did we win tonight, Chaz? First quarter. How did we win? How did we end up winning?
KCP and Rondo. Role players coming up late, of all people. And AD showed it. AD hit that clutch 3 with 40 seconds to go to put the Lakers up 9 and pretty much seal the win. I knew that it was probably going to be over once LeBron hit that fadeaway J over Jimmy Butler.
Over who?
And I'm just yelling over Jimmy Butler.
Oh, who was that? He hit it over who?
That was that Jimmy Butler guy that he was saying that they was in trouble.
Yeah.
That guy. You in trouble, big dog. You in trouble. 3-1. Ain't nobody done it in the finals. You in trouble. And that's when I knew it was over. And how many points did I say that he would have to score in this next game?
You said 25.
How many you get?
22.
Trust the prophet, big dog. Trust the prophet.
Trust the prophet.
What did I say the Lakers would have to shoot from 3 in order to win this game?
35%?
What did the Lakers shoot for this game?
35.9%.
Hot dog. Red Cup.
Cheers to you, my friend.
3-1 lead. Hey, man. I don't know everything, but I know my team. And I know my dog. And I know that we're going to close. The coronation is scheduled for Friday at 8:30 till whenever. We're celebrating all weekend. If you told LeBron James that it would come down to a game in the bubble, one game for the chip, up 3-1, and I'm glad Bam Adebayo played.
Yep.
No excuses. No excuses. I wish Dragic played. Hopefully, he might be able to play Game 5 so we can get this work too.
Tonight was one of those nights, man, where it wasn't even so much that the Lakers weren't playing well. I think we all kind of figured it was going to be a tough game. But when you're so close to the championship and you're watching a 5-point lead turn into being down by 1, you get up by 3, now you're down by 2. Caruso's down. It looked like AD then got blown up. LeBron at one point was kneeling over because him and Rondo ran into each other. You're seeing so much when you're so close.
That Caruso collision on AD, man. That Caruso collision. I thought it reminded me of that time Kobe went into Andrew Bynum's knee in Memphis.
Oh, yeah.
In the regular season in the 2008, right before the 2008 playoffs. Luckily, AD is tall enough to where it hit him more in the thigh in his groin area rather than his knee. But Caruso was boxed out directly into AD, and he took a pretty hard spill there. And he got himself together and got a lob pass from KCP and finished the game. And he had a tough game. He had a tough game, and he powered through it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he kept getting hit in the face constantly. I mean,
I'm gonna tell you, man. The part that got me really excited was when LeBron went up for that. He got fouled a couple times towards the end of the game, but
by
that
Crowder,
one by Crowder. When he turned around, like you don't see LeBron
let him know
talk.
about it.
Yeah,
Nah,
man.
man.
That lets you
You're
know.
not, you're not going to hit me in my head nothing but one more time until I, really got something to say. And
Yeah.
he had something to say, and he didn't hit him up. Guess what? He didn't hit him upside the head like that again for the rest of the game.
No more. No more. And I'm gonna tell
So,
you because at that point I just checked Dwight in for one play only. Like yeah,
give him
one
that
more
little
time.
elbow.
Anakat Mohan on YouTube says one more. James Michael, job not done, but AD called game on that one. It's one of the most stressful games ever. Uh, who's in trouble now, MFs? Go Lakers! And here it is. This is the comment I've been waiting for because everybody get your apology pins out. This guy said we slandered KCP into greatness. This is Chris Finn on Periscope. So here's my question, man. Like obviously KCP has had his ups and downs, but him scoring 15 points tonight. Listen, he went 3 of 8 from 3. He hit a late game 3. How would you even grade his performance tonight?
His look, Markieff Morris only shot 2 of 8, 2 of 7 for 3. But I tweeted out during the live tweet that I felt like Markieff was single-handedly holding us in the game because those 2 threes that he hit were big threes to be able to keep the momentum at least somewhat in our direction.
Agreed.
In that first half and keep our head above water because LeBron and AD just, man, they were struggling. LeBron still had, I believe he had 5 turnovers in the first half. LeBron ended the game with 6 turnovers, was a -2 with 28 points, 8 assists, and 12 rebounds. But AD led the team in plus 17, 22 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists, a steal, 4 blocks. My man was active tonight. He was active out here. So he didn't have a great shooting night, but he filled up the stat sheet and was able to get the most important stat, which is that W at the end of the day. And Lakers are 1 win away, man.
That W, man. And once again, one more win. In fact, it says, Anakat Mohan says, Prophet Chaz is spot on again. I can't wait to hear this game 5 prediction. D100, one more Friday, October 9th for 8. That's the coronation ceremony, apparently. Devontae Roberts, I think AD definitely sealed up finals MVP with that shot. Okay. Now, I know obviously there's been a lot of conversation about who's the final MVP. At the end of the day,
depends on what happens in game 5.
There it is. If you were to cast your vote today,
if I had to cast my vote today, man, that's a good question. Because AD's performance was so bad last game.
It's horrible.
Like, it was that bad. Even though he hit a huge shot, I'd give it to LeBron. Let me let y'all know something. This is just between me and y'all, Laker Nation, and you, Devon. This is between me and y'all, man. So come in close real quick. Come in close. I think LeBron James is going to hit a game winner in Game 5 to win the championship.
God, I wish I had that club horn. There it is.
That's really what I think, and I've been thinking about it, and I didn't want to say it because, I don't want to, jinx it. I just kind of want to go with the flow, and I don't really want to make too many predictions and go on too much of a limb. But that's how I'm feeling. Like how AD hit a game winner, and I knew that we were going to get a game winner at some point from somebody in this playoffs. I really thought it was going to be Kuz than AD, but AD, he gave us that game 2 shot against Denver. I really think it's a good chance. This next game is going to be tough, just like this one was. Even though the coronation is scheduled for Friday at 8:30, it's not going to be easy. So that's just my prediction. That's it. That's the only thing I'm going to say. I'm not going to give you any stats, no percentages, no nothing. I'm just going to tell you the Lakers are going to win, and it might be off of a LeBron game winner.
And if that happens, I'm going to do the hater prediction, and Skip Bayless is going to say it wasn't a big time shot because the Lakers were ahead 3-1 in the series. So just watch how both of those come true. The 30 million Lakers gave to KCP for 2 years was worth it, according to James Michael.
That is so much money. But yeah, yeah,
So much, man. New Wins Order said
yeah.
he was never in doubt. Now, I'm gonna be honest from my personal self. I was in doubt until the last 5 minutes.
I was in doubt for not doubt that we would win, but just doubt that the Miami Heat could pull it out when I believe Duncan Robinson hit a crazy three in KCP's face to pretty much tie the game at 83, I believe it was. And from there, from 83 on, the Lakers went on a 19-13 run and was able to close it out and beat them by 6. So, uh, man, the fact that they shot 36% from three is the only reason why they won this game. In addition to the defense down the stretch, I really felt like there were some possessions that they clamped down in the mid to late fourth quarter. KCP was huge,
Yeah.
multiple efforts, picking up people, switching multiple times on the perimeter, getting a hand out. Obviously, he got wetted in his eyeball a few times, but he contested a few shots as well that went his way. So, game ball to me goes to KCP.
Absolutely. 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 Devontae Roberts says Kuz and the supporting cast balled out tonight. I absolutely agree. I think every Laker that's had significant minutes this season, especially in the playoffs, has had a moment where you look back and you go, we probably don't win the game if they don't have that stretch or they don't have those two particular hit shots. And we've seen it. I mean, even with Caruso, Caruso doesn't really shoot threes, even though walking into the night he was the best free throw shooter percentage wise. I mean, a 3-point shooter, which is crazy to think about. But everybody's had a shining moment, and it makes you excited because you feel like everybody's kind of earned a spot, right? With the exception of like a J.R.
True
Smith.
team effort.
True team effort, man.
Even he hit a three last game.
He did. He did hit a three. That is true. That is true. The Guru asked you this question. I can't wait for you to answer it. Do you think this was the best performance of the playoffs for Bron? Obviously talking about this year's playoffs. And the Guru says they are 100% believer that this was his best playoff performance so far.
This game or this playoff run?
This game of these playoffs. So just taking into consideration these playoffs, this was his best game out of the double digits we played so far.
No. The best game I felt that he played was the closeout game against Denver.
Agreed.
38-16, and 10. With the closeout three ball in the eye hole. That's his best game in my opinion.
Help me understand, because I feel like LeBron got aggressive in the fourth, but why aren't we seeing that from him in the first quarter? Why aren't we seeing him drive to the hole and draw those fouls like he did with Jay Crowder in the beginning of the game?
Because LeBron is like a computer, man. He has to survey, detect, and understand what Spoelstra and the defense is doing. It took him some time to adjust and to be able to get to his spots. And it wasn't from a lack of aggression or a lack of execution. It was just him being able to pick his spots, and you're trying to force things too much, right? When you're so anxious and you want it so bad, you force it, and that's what he was doing. That's why he had 5 turnovers in the first half. And he just wasn't it, but he surveyed. He was able to get to a few more of his spots. That third quarter is really what got him off. That's where he scored the majority of his points, and it was a huge run. And the bench just showed up. That's all I could say. If it wasn't for the bench, then even Kuz hit timely threes in the corner, and even though he was turning the ball over himself, and that pass to Jimmy Butler or to LeBron with that Jimmy Butler stole was a huge momentum killer at that point. So, but hey, I'm not even going to harp on the negative. I'm just proud that the guys pulled it out, and one win.
There it is.
All you need is one. All you need is one at this point. So I have all the confidence in the world that they'll close it out. And it's going to be a fight. There might be a fist fight for real, like for this trophy on Friday. So I expect it to not be easy, and we're gonna do it for Gigi. We're gonna do it for Kobe. true.
Tonight was
I already,
this.
I,
Yeah.
and I already got my Javier Golden Knight GFX tee winning for Kobe tee ready to go for Friday night, man. So I just got in today along with this tee. Go get your merch.
Go get him.
Go to gfx.com, can'tbeatla.com. I got my shipment in this morning, so
Oh man, I
I'm
love
ready.
it, bro.
I'm ready.
It's
I'm gonna
gonna
have
be
my
on and
red cup
popping.
just like you.
Listen, because the next game is when? Thursday, right?
Friday.
Next
Everybody
game is
thinks
Friday.
it's Thursday.
I don't know why I keep thinking
Yeah.
it was Thursday. It's Friday.
Well, because
Okay.
everybody's been playing every other day, but we get an extra day of rest and just an extra day to prepare and just an extra day to make sure that these guys are catching the flight out the bubble Saturday morning.
There it is. There it is. LeBron bulldozed Hero, who's snarling now.
Oh, I love that play.
I loved it.
I love that play.
And of course, Hero flopped a little bit, but I mean, at the end of the day, like Hero should have even tried to get in that man's way. I've seen full-grown centers move out the way when LeBron's coming full speed to the basket.
Yeah, man. It's not gonna work out too good for you, rookie.
Here it is. Okay, here's a weird comment. Danny Green has one more game in a Laker uniform.
No. He got a player option for year 2. So that
Yeah.
other $15 million that he got for year 2, that's his option. And I think I'm taking that, especially if I win a chip, especially if I'm in LA, especially if I don't know what the salary cap is going to be based off of COVID. So you're going to pick that option up for sure.
Somebody said 24K Petty on Periscope said KCP manna from heaven.
Hey, man, I'm looking at this picture right now from KCP and with his face on the Pope, pretty much. Like, we're praising him. Like,
Yeah.
he came through. He came through in a big way. Now we just need somebody else to step up.
Absolutely.
I mean, it could be him, but hopefully it's just AD and LeBron that just combines for 70 points and 20 rebounds, and hopefully it's one of those games. Hopefully it's not a close one like this one. I don't know if I could take it for the chip.
I personally want to see a little bit more from Rondo. I think knowing that Rondo has the ability to do what he can do, he was a little bit off tonight. He didn't really score his first
2 points,
bucket.
right?
2 points, and they were.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a good time to turn that one bucket into what we needed. But I feel like when Rondo is going, the offense just runs a little bit more smoothly.
Plus 8 though, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, a steal. He did his job, even if he didn't score like the way he should have.
Yeah.
He was able to get it.
So here's one. LeBron hitting timely buckets and knocking down the free throws was a huge boost. That's from Jen on YouTube. And yeah, I mean he kind of did, but I feel like the KCP buckets were probably the most important and most impactful towards this win tonight, just because of the timing of it, right?
Right. Absolutely. I mean, you needed to have those buckets at that time. If you didn't, then there were times that you were going to go underwater because of Miami, Bam, Duncan Robinson. Hero was hitting baseline Kobe J fadeaways. Like, hey man, that kid is good. He's nice.
Yeah.
And he's only going to get better with time. And credit to the Heat for making it a series and making it tough, right? Even though it's a gentleman's sweep or even a sweep, that doesn't mean that the series is easy, right? It could be 4 or 5 close games down to separated by 1 point, but that's always what I felt like it was going to be. And I know I said Lakers in 4, and I got a little excited, but Lakers in 5, and that's just going to be what it is.
It's going to be what it is. Blake St. Clair has a great comment that I want to get your thoughts on. I think I might have lost him. Blake, you said AD defending Butler was a gamble that paid off. Chaz, can you hear me? Can't know if you hear me. AD defending Butler was a gamble that paid off. AD definitely couldn't put as much energy into his offense when he did guard him, but it worked to keep Butler quiet. And Butler he was the highest scorer on the Heat tonight with Tyler Hero being right behind him at 21 points. But Butler obviously didn't have a 40-point game. So the question is, defending Butler. So we saw towards the end of the game, LeBron on Butler, and stayed on my boy. We saw AD stay on Butler at certain points. So when you're watching this going into Game 5, are you doing this by committee against Jimmy Butler again? Are you looking to do that, or is there somebody that you want to see primarily picking up Jimmy and keeping him from even getting 22 points?
LeBron. It'll be our defense will be played the exact same way as it was played tonight. Hopefully,
I
God
did
will.
see. I saw a moment where we went into zone, and we actually ended up leaving Hero wide open, and he missed it. Thank God. But what do you think that was
You know,
about with the Lakers going into zone at that weird moment?
just trying something at that point because nothing was working. And we were, but what we were able to find out is that leaving Jimmy open for those threes, he wouldn't take them. He took one and he missed it. Leaving Bam open, going up under the screen on those, knowing your personnel, fighting over the screen on Duncan Robinson and Tyler Hero, but going up under on Jimmy Butler and Bam, and kind of mix matching with Crowder. Sometimes
Yeah.
going over, sometimes going under, just depending on what part of the floor and what the flow is in the offense. But yeah, uh,
I can't
it's
wait.
kind of surreal.
It
It's
is.
kind of surreal, like to be this close. We haven't been like I don't even remember what it was like. I mean, I do, but it's been a long
It's
time.
it's a
Like
different
it's been
feeling.
a decade since we were one win away from the championship. So with
Way
that being
different.
the case, it's way different, especially now. Just means
Yeah,
that
man.
much more.
Karen Chaparan, Shaparian, I'm gonna say Shaparian, on Periscope says props for Vogel on putting in DG at the end. And I had a great conversation with a friend of mine. We got into a little bit of a disagreement about Vogel's coaching. I have a couple of friends who said Vogel really is an assistant coach. That's what he really should be. But I feel like Vogel makes the right adjustments when necessary. Example tonight, coming into the third and fourth quarter, second half, starting Markieff Morris, leaving Dwight Howard, who's been your energy guy for a couple of games. Only played 8 minutes tonight, but Markieff Morris comes in, plays 30, gives you valuable minutes, as you said. So I feel like Vogel has been doing a great job, although the commentary seems to be split. I don't know where you stand on Vogel so far, heading into a potentially clinching game for the title on Friday.
A plus, A plus, not just the A plus. His except for last game, like I didn't like his lack of adjustments to what Spoelstra did, but I don't feel like he's getting out coached
True.
like everybody thinks. It was just that one game. He was able to make the necessary adjustment, took Dwight out, left Markeith in, let Markeith, and he's a defensive coach, and that's
Yeah.
what won the game at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Talent, scheme didn't win the game offensively. Talent made those buckets offensively, but the scheme defensively is really what won the game. KCP fight, going over those screens, getting in those passing lanes. So just credit to those guys, man. And I know my connections going out. Not sure exactly why, but probably gonna have to hop off here in a few. But
No worries.
just want to let you guys know. Just want to let you guys know. Coronation Friday night, 8:30 p.m. Be there, be square. Get your Laker flag ready.
Get your merch,
We're
man.
gonna
I got
meet
my
up.
Braun jersey
We
waiting.
if you in LA, we meeting up at Staples Center at 9 o'clock. And let's not burn nothing. Let's not go too crazy. Let's not get anybody arrested. But we're gonna celebrate this one, whether we have a parade or not. So, connection going crazy. So I'll see you guys. Hold it down, for your boy, and I'll see y'all Friday.
I got you, man. All right, man. Thank you so. Oh, wait. Before you get off, give us the prediction. We need the prediction. We need the trust the prophet moment.
I'm not like I said, no stats, no numbers, no percentages, no nothing. Lakers win. Coronation on Friday night could be a LeBron game winner for the check.
I tip my cup to you, sir. Thank you for keeping us even keel.
Sip, sip to that.
I'll see you on the next one, man.
Peace out, y'all.
Now let me get to these comments, man. Let me get to some of these comments that are in here right now. And I know there's plenty of stuff that we haven't talked about. And so let me go back and let me just play catch up real quick. Oh, there's so many comments, and I want to get your guys' thoughts. As I'm going through this, man, I want to hear from you guys who your vote is for Finals MVP so far. If you were to rank yours today, if you were to put your vote in, put it in the chat, YouTube, Periscope. Let me know what you're thinking, especially Twitch. We already have D Million saying LeBron Finals MVP. He came alive in the fourth. Absolutely. We don't win this game, in my opinion, without an aggressive LeBron down the stretch and getting to the free throw line. Champions win even though they aren't getting the calls. And I actually prefer, and I think Anna Mahan even says this, it was much more of a 90s physical kind of game. I prefer games where they don't blow the whistle. That helps us as Lakers. Even though, for AD, it doesn't really go in our favor as far as on the offensive end. But the fact that he can stay on the floor because they're not calling ticky-tack fouls, it benefits us. And our size showed that tonight. We actually have been getting a little bit better in free throws in this series. We traditionally have been horrible with free throws, and they decided to turn it on. I don't know what's happening. I don't know if Phil Handy's doing something, but they're having their way at the free throw line, and it's good. Tonight, obviously, and once again, our average normally is around 75%, right around there, 70 to 75. We're in the bottom half of the NBA when it comes to free throw shooting percentage. But tonight, 18 of 21, and 85% from the free throw line. What's important to understand, though, is when you shoot 21 free throws, 3 free throw attempts, but 12 of those came from LeBron, that lets you know that he was aggressive and in the paint. If you want to see how the Lakers are going to win Game 5, it's going to come from an aggressive, going into the paint, doing their thing, and having their way. And obviously, Bam is good. He's obviously healthy. He's going to be even more healthy come Friday. But the most important thing is, as healthy as Bam is, LeBron James is the same size as Bam Adebayo. I want you to think about that. The man who plays point guard for us is as big as their starting center for the Heat. That lets you know that we should dominate on every level. That means that when AD is in there, he should dominate. That means that when Markieff Morris is in there, he should dominate. And obviously when Bron is in there, he should dominate. And we're going to look for them to be dominant, way more dominant than they were today. Here we go. AD should have been Defensive Player of the Year by a mile. Absolutely. I don't know what that was about, but he's shown it. He's shown it in the finals. And not just Defensive Player of the Year. I think what we're looking from AD, what we saw tonight, is that it wasn't his best game. Tonight was not AD's best game. If you look at his stats, he played 42 minutes and only had 22 points, but he did have 9 rebounds, 4 assists, of course, 4 blocks. So he was doing his thing on the defensive end. But that's what you're looking at when you look at Anthony Davis versus even like a Giannis as Defensive Player of the Year. Anthony Davis does so much that is different, right? It's not just transition buckets, but tonight he hit a 3 that essentially really gave us the cushion that we needed to walk into the end of this game comfortably. But he also had 4 blocks. So on one end, he's playing defense on guards and blocking them on the baseline, and on the other end, he's shooting into the shot clock threes, and he's swishing it with like nothing but net. That to me shows that what we have in Anthony Davis is unlike any other big man in the league. And once again, the Lakers have secured their superstar going forward. And we've seen the torch be passed from Kobe now on to LeBron, and you better believe LeBron is going to pass that torch to Anthony Davis, and it all starts with getting a ring. And once again, we are one more win till we get that ring. Crowder should have been called for a flagrant, says El Sanchez. Crowder's been in a weird space when it comes to playing defense, especially with LeBron. It's almost like he has a purpose in his mind to hurt LeBron or do whatever he can to rough him up. And what I love is that it's not stopping LeBron from being him. And so, obviously, being up 3-1, Crowder has one more game to try to pull that off, but I think LeBron's going to be able to withstand the punishment. First time we might get co-finals MVP, says Kesko Jr. Very possible. We don't know. Showtime Forum says, how was Tyler Tuesday? Now, I'm going to be honest. Tyler did his thing. Second leading scorer tonight. Young cat on the floor. We already talked about him, but 37 minutes, 8 of 18, and going for 21 points. He was a minus 13, though, and I think a lot of that has to do with the defense that they're playing. Taco Tuesday, absolutely. And then happy birthday to Bronny, of course, turning 16. As long as we are desperate in Game 5, we will get the win. LeBron senses blood now. And here's the key, and this is part of the reason why LeBron walked off the court as frustrated as he was in the last game, is that he can know that what's at stake, but nobody really understands what it's like to lose a finals that you should win. Nobody really understands that pain like LeBron. And so it's one thing for him to know it, for him to have that understanding, and for him to smell blood, but that has to translate to the rest of these guys, and the energy has to come out high and hot. And I know people are going to be injured and they're hobbled and they're tired of being in the bubble, but they could change all that Friday night. Friday night, they could punch their ticket home. Friday night, they can punch their ticket to a great vacation, and they can even give the Heat a great vacation. But they have to take care of business Friday night, so they need to leave it all on the floor. Can we talk about those Black Mamba jerseys on Friday? Winning the championship in that jersey would be poetic and special. Anakat Mohan. Yeah, I don't think it's going to change. I think they've already earmarked that and saving that in case there's a Game 7. We don't believe there's going to be a Game 7, and I don't have any reason to believe that there will be. But I think the bigger thing is going to be getting that championship. It would be so poetic to be able to do it in the Mamba jerseys. But to be honest, if we do it in the Mamba jerseys this series, that means that something went horribly wrong. That means that we got to a Game 7, we were up 3-1, and now we're in Clipper territory. So we need to take care of business, win in whatever jersey we're wearing, and then hoist that trophy. And listen, when we get on whatever they get on the parade bus or whatever we end up doing, they can put on the Mamba jerseys then. What will be so poetic is when they win the championship, if every single person put on Kobe Bryant jerseys as opposed to a championship t-shirt. I think that would be so poetic. That would be so incredible that everybody is wearing a number 8 or a number 24 on the team as they take that picture with the trophy. But once again, we still have one more win, so we're not even there yet, but that would be poetic to have that. I'm going to wear my Win for Kobe shirt on Friday as well, says Aaron Coles on on Periscope. Do it. If you guys can, hit up Javier on Golden Knight FX. He has fire waiting on y'all. Brian Cuevas, where can I cop that Laker hat by us? If you go over to Golden Knight FX, he's on Twitter. You will find all the merch, and he has more merch he's getting ready to come out with. I'm telling you, and you can also hit up Can'tBeatLA.com. That's our boy Ardell, who's also a part of Showtime. They both have fire gear for whatever you need. I'm talking everything you need, and most of the merch that you've seen in the bubble, a lot of that merch from JR, from Bubble Cheese to I'm That Guy, a lot of that stuff either came from Golden Knight or it came from Can't Beat LA, so you're good with either one of those. Lakers being down 56-0 when leading after 3 quarters is just ridiculous. KC Sports Talk, what a stat. That's not even an aberration. When you go 56 wins when you have been leading after 3 quarters, that's tremendous. That's tremendous coaching. That's tremendous veteran leadership. And really, just to be honest, that's just grit. And that's tenacity, being able to pull that out. And it took that tonight. Okay? And mind you, one of the things we got to point out, we have a very old team. Dwight is old. JaVale is old. Danny is old. Rondo is old. LeBron is old. We have a much older team. It's been one of the things that's been kind of held over our head as a negative. But we hung with young cats tonight. Jimmy Butler, Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson. It was a classic showdown of veteranship versus youthful age, youthful legs. And it showed up tonight, and the tenacity showed up, and the grit showed up, and we pulled it out. And it's good to know that we are 1 win away. If the Lakers win the championship, I'm buying a KCP jersey. That Raiders hat in the back, that's right. That's right, Bryant. That's right, man. I'm Raiders all day. Dodgers just tied. Al Sanchez. There we go. For anybody watching Dodgers game. Markieff has been clutch. I hope we can keep him next year, man. Markieff has proven to be... Forget about the better twin thing, man. That's whatever. But what Markieff has shown is that he fits this organizational structure. He fits what we need for the future. He pairs well in the rotation. He's not one who's begging for minutes, but he makes the most of the minutes that he gets. You saw that tonight. Don't be surprised if going into Game 5 on Friday that Markieff gets the starting lineup in the starting role. I think it's going to make a difference how we come out in the gate. I think he matches up well. I think he plays. He understands the defensive structure better, more and more as he continues to play, and he's understanding where to be offensively. This is why you're seeing him shoot such a high percentage from 3. It's because he's constantly learning where his spot is, and you're always going to catch him at either the top of the key or on the elbows, sometimes in the corner. But he always seems to find a way to slip out. And because he's a big, generally the other team's big is going to get caught on a double with Anthony Davis. And all it takes is just a kick out to Morris. And once he does that, he's almost pretty much money from that spot. He's been one of our most consistent 3-point shooters. And it is so awesome to be able to do that. I'm sending you... good. Okay. Javi's Golden Knight is going to be sending me everything you guys need tonight. So I'm going to throw that in the chat as well. There it is. DL Johnson. Thank you so much for doing that, bro. On Periscope. Everything on Can'tBeatLA.com is sold out. When y'all getting a new shipment, stay tuned to that. These guys are working super hard, man. And number one, let me just say thank y'all for being supportive for those guys, but they will get that restocked at some point. I just don't know what it is, but make sure you guys stay tuned to that. As soon as I find out, I will make sure that I tweet it out as myself. Yeah, it's all that stuff's coming. Jason Jeter, shout out to the Laker bench overall. They played well. Laker bench has been the surprise. The thing that people have been saying is that teams have depth. That was kind of the conversation with the Clippers. Conversation with even the Heat is that they have depth, and they do, but the Heat play a short rotation the same way that the Houston Rockets did, and so they have people like Derek Anderson sitting on the bench. They have people like Myers Leonard was sitting on the bench and stuff like that, and those guys can contribute in some way, shape, or form. But the truth is that our guys step up when necessary and they do the unspoken things. I don't think we win this championship without Alex Caruso. I don't think we win this championship without KCP. I don't think we win this championship without Avery Bradley. I don't think we win it without playoff Rondo showing up when he did. I don't think we win it without Danny Green playing the defense that he has in certain points and certain moments. I just think everybody, even Kuz, has hit valuable shots at certain moments. And it just feels like this bench steps up when necessary, even when they're not as consistent as we want them to be. They have been what's necessary to get us to one win away from winning the finals. What do you think of What do you think the Lakers need next season? That's from Petty Pendergrass on Periscope. I don't want to look too far ahead, but I'll say this. I think the biggest thing that we need to figure out is just understanding what our depth is going to look like. Obviously, some stuff came out about the odds about us being repeats. We haven't even won this year. So to say that we would be at odds to repeat next year is crazy. But I will say that the Lakers have an opportunity in this gap to be able to rest, get healthy, get their minds right. These guys haven't been home in almost 3 months. Them being able to get out of this bubble, get free, kind of get themselves together. And I think once they come back together, and once again, you still have like an Avery Bradley who's out there, Boogie Cousins, who is still somewhat feeling like he's tied to the team in some way, shape, or form. So there's a lot of conversation that needs to happen. But I think before we get to all of that, the biggest thing is going to be just getting past this season, the longest season, having a chance to breathe and mourn Kobe's death for real. They haven't really had a chance to do that. And then getting this weight of winning this championship off their shoulders and then moving forward. Signing AD. That should be number one priority. I want to see that ink on the paper as soon as he's eligible to sign and getting that set up. So all that stuff has to happen. Kesco Jr., we didn't get the calls from the refs tonight, and we did not. The refs, let me also set the tone for Game 5 already. The refs are not going to be they know. This is just veteran leadership for the refs, okay? And just so you guys know how the tiers work, you have to have a certain rating as a referee in order to be eligible to even do the playoffs, let alone the finals. So you're going to see a lot of guys who are veterans refereeing in the finals. Now tonight, this was the guy who was like the chief referee or the chief official referee. This was his first time being that, but his resume is huge, right? And so when you look at the finals in Game 5, you're looking at guys who know they don't want their whistle to be the determining factor. So the key is not going to be in the first half or even the third quarter. The key is going to be in the fourth quarter. If that game is tight, expect the refs to swallow the whistle. LeBron knows that. He knows that he's going to have to draw significant contact in order for that whistle to get drawn, which is why you saw him driving and almost bending over backwards trying to make sure contact was made. And you also know that you have the freedom defensively to be able to be a little bit more aggressive. And you saw that tonight from the Lakers. Their defense picked up because they knew in the fourth quarter that the refs were not going to be calling as much. Some of the stuff that we did that were great defensive plays really could have been called fouls if it was in the first quarter. But in the fourth, the refs are going to swallow that whistle, and that plays into the hands of the Lakers every single time. You have the greatest driver in basketball and LeBron James, and the best big man in basketball in Anthony Davis, and both of them thrive on getting fouls on the other team. Now, if we get into Game 1, if we get into this next game and we start getting fouls early and we start getting to the foul line early, that game might be a blowout. Because when the Lakers get to the free throw line early, listen, tonight we only had 3 free throws, I think, going into the second half. I think even going into the fourth quarter. We didn't really start getting free throws until later into the game. If the Lakers come out aggressive in the beginning and start getting those fouls up front, it's going to be a blowout. Okay, I'm telling you right now. LeBron just said, "I will not sleep until the job is done." I'm glad to hear that. Showtime Forum. Josh Hart just called out people for killing KCP. KCP. I mean, and Josh Hart. They obviously have a relationship and a working friendship based upon their years together. So the idea is this though. Like we've talked about this. We kill our players when they don't play well, but we also heap a ton of praise when you play even significantly well. Look at what we've looked, and this is not a good comparison because Caruso has been the most consistent contributor on our team, really, I think, off the bench for anybody. Not just scoring has been up and down, but that's not what we look at him for. Energy and defense, he's been consistent all the way across the board. But look at how we treat Kuz, and look at how we treat Danny Green, and look at all these things. When you play well, we celebrate you. We will gas you up more than anybody in the media. But if you don't do well, we're going to tear you a new one. And this is what Kobe was talking about. When Kobe said, if I have to convince you to come play for this franchise, then you ain't the right one. Because he knows you have to want that level. You have to want that level of criticism on you to play for this franchise. And what I loved about Kobe is we all knew that Kobe would shoot shots you should not shoot. We all knew that. But because his mentality was so strong, we rode with him. And Kobe could go 8 for 36. But even in his final game, if you think about it, in his final game when he went for 60, we were like, man, whenever he decides to turn it on, that dude's going to be a monster. And so we'll settle for the inconsistency because we know his mentality is strong. That's what we're looking for from AD. That's what we're looking for from LeBron. That's what we're looking for the rest of this team, is that you have a strong mentality. So, yeah, we killed KCP. But if you join this organization, you got to know that being killed for playing bad is what comes with the territory. Which coach do you think we lose? Leonard Buchanan. I don't know. I know Jason Kidd obviously deserves. Listen, our coaching staff is a great coaching staff. I think Phil Handy sticks around. I think that's still a strong possibility. But I think Jason Kidd deserves a look, man. Obviously, Lionel Hollins deserves a spot. I mean, we have once again a once in a lifetime conglomerate of people. Veterans, coaches, the whole nine, that we just have to savor this moment. Like Friday could be the last time you see this combination of players and coaches ever again. Okay, this might be the last time you see this combination. So take a snapshot, take a picture of this, look at it, savor it. I don't think J.R. Smith's on this team next year. I don't think that. Maybe Dwight. I don't know. We don't know what's going to look like. So the coaches could go. They're free. They're free to leave. They're free to give offers. One thing I do know is that Frank Vogel has solidified himself for the next few years because he has been one of the most he has been the most consistent coach we've had that has given us the results that we need. Even when D'Antoni was giving us a modicum of success, none of us trusted it because there was so much drama and Kobe's Achilles, and it was just so much going on with that we just never really trusted D'Antoni, right? But we can trust Vogel because Vogel has shown that he's trustworthy. This is the furthest any coach has taken us since Phil Jackson. And that's worth saying something. Bro, LeBron was getting mugged. Extreme obsessionist. Yes, absolutely. And it's almost like every play, but they never call it. The collective coaching staff is very good. Losing any of them would hurt. Yeah, it would. But it's the way the game is played. And you don't want to hold people back. Some of these guys are really looking to become head coaches, and they deserve it, man. They deserve it. Jason Kidd deserves a shot. He was supposed to be the nuclear bomb. He was supposed to be the guy that was going to upend Frank Vogel as soon as we lost a few games. And the truth is, we ain't heard no drama out of Jason Kidd. Absolutely none. He's been great. He's been absolutely awesome. And what I loved is that he has the freedom to do what he is great at doing. So you saw him after LeBron had 5 turnovers. He goes to the sideline. It's not Frank Vogel talking to LeBron. It's Jason Kidd running plays for LeBron. Think about what we're talking about. 2 Hall of Famers discussing basketball IQ, and the head coach is still free to coach the rest of the team. Like that right there, you're not going to get that from it. There's no assistant coach that's going to go to LeBron and try to coach LeBron on how to be a better point guard. You're not going to find that. You're not going to find, unless Steve Nash ends up coming over here or something, but you're not going to find it. So being able to have a coaching staff where you can pull people to the side and it's all-star Hall of Fame leadership that's sitting on the bench that is helping your players while you're still coaching the game is just something that no other team has. And we may not ever have this again. This may be it. Okay, but it's great to see it, and I can't wait to see how these guys are celebrated. Lionel Hollins deserves a shot. This dude has been. They say this dude has been engaged every game. Think about this, every game, and he wasn't even allowed to come. Right? But he's still engaged, and he deserves a ring, obviously, just like any other coach, because he's been active and in it, and that's what you want to see. Should have added emphasis on Braun taking advantage of the and one since he can struggle at the line even after getting mauled by Crowder. Braun had 20 points in the second half. Jen, absolutely. He got more aggressive in the whole night. I don't really care so much about Braun hitting the free throws. Obviously, I care if it's close. But what's more important is, number one, getting into the penalty. Right, so you want to get them to get into the penalty early so that we can get other people to the free throw line quicker, and then two, just getting people in foul trouble so that they have to go deeper into their bench, which plays better into our hand. So when you get fouls, it's really not about the free throws. The free throws are the free points, but for in these kind of games where the other team is running a short rotation, and you know that they rely heavily on a Bam, heavily on a Tyler Hero, heavily on a Jimmy Butler. Getting those guys into foul trouble is ultimately what this is how the Nuggets series got out of hand for the Nuggets. When Jokic went to the bench, they could not perform. So they made it a point to put Jokic in foul trouble. You saw it. Dwight's whole job was to do whatever he could to make it tough for Jokic to stay on the floor. And he did that. The same thing we're going to have to do with Bam Adebayo. The same thing we're going to have to do with Jimmy Butler and the whole nine. So, Game 5 score, 108 to 124. You're calling that out. Okay. All right, here goes the MVP count. So far, LeBron, MVP. That's from D100. AD, MVP. So we got one for AD. Right now, I have to go with AD. So that's 2 for AD. Bron has been more consistent, but AD has been more impactful. I'll go with LeBron. So you have LeBron there. Caruso for MVP. Hey, a Laker fan can dream. Listen, if he has some kind of explosive, crazy game, I still don't think they would give it to him, but he's our MVP, right? Braun MVP. Let's see here. That it looks like Braun pretty much. Braun is leading in points and rebounds. Blake Sinclair, I give my vote for Finals MVP to AD just ahead of LeBron, but Game 5 could change that. AD, LeBron. So it looks pretty. Now it looks pretty even. There's a couple of questions about LeBron's groin. LeBron did not injure his groin when him and Rondo ran into each other going after that rebound. He got hit in the family jewels. He was actually laughing about it when he was walking back to the bench. But if anybody's ever been hit down low, any man, you understand that's a different level of pain. So I don't think it's going to be anything that hinders him in Game 5, but he's definitely going to be sore tonight. I'll tell you that right now. Crowder is still personally hurt. LeBron shipped him to Utah after he stunk it up in Cleveland. Yeah, I think that kind of gets lost in the dialogue too, that people forget that like Crowder and LeBron know each other. So this is not like some random dude that just shows up and is fouling him. I think he has to. I think Crowder has to know that he's getting underneath LeBron's skin. Dylan Schuler on Periscope. LeBron gonna have a master 40-point game next. I don't think LeBron's gonna score 40, and not because he can't. I just don't think it's gonna be necessary. I think LeBron with the IQ and the chess match thinking that he has, he knows how valuable Anthony Davis is going to be to this win. He also knows how valuable the rest of the team is going to be. And so I think you're going to probably see him trying to get people going early so that he can close it out in the end, kind of like what he did tonight. But we'll see. Bron is leading the team. Closeout game, LeBron. What would you add to this Laker team next season? I don't even know what the salary caps look like. The biggest thing is shooting. I think that's the biggest thing for them. Shooting has always been poor for us, but we've made up for it because we have two monsters in LeBron and AD. So the inconsistency in the shooting, you can survive that. But teams are going to zone in on that next year. Playing against Golden State, they're not going to be as great defensively because I think they've lost some defensive presence. But offensively, they're going to be insane. And I think you're going to have to really, really have some sort of shooting to be able to keep up with them. Some modicum of shooting. And we'll see how that goes. Coach immediately got Markieff on when Crowder was hacking Braun. Absolutely. Markieff is meant to be the enforcer, period. Next season is going to be interesting when Kuz finally gets that starting spot and when the Lakers go younger by developing THT and others. I don't think Kuz is going to be a starter at any point unless somebody's injured. But I think they're going to build their starting lineup around veteran leadership that LeBron trusts. LeBron's still playing with us next year. It's not like he's same thing. So he's going to put people on the floor that he trusts. So you're probably not going to see it. If Avery Bradley is there, you're probably going to see Avery Bradley back in that lineup again, which shifts the rotation again. KCP goes back to the bench. You're going to see a lot of stuff change. So we'll see. Lakers need to pursue Joe Harris in the offseason. Cam Smith. That is what I said in the Lakers Slack. I don't know how viable that is. Joe Harris can command a lot of money depending on the team. I could easily see like a team like the Bucks or the Warriors or heck, even the Heat going after Joe Harris because he's such a specialist behind the 3-point line. But it would be great if he joined the Lakers. I just don't know how realistic that is. Let's get Markeith's brother too. Reminds me of the Hanson twins. That's a possibility. Being able to have two Morrises to go in there, that would be something crazy. Do you think we'll keep the same roster intact to start next season? I think it's going to be primarily the same with some adjustments of people whose contracts obviously are going to expire, or just we don't need to play them. So we'll see. Bradley Beal, yeah, we can probably throw the Bradley Beal conversation out the window. I just don't even see how the money works because you're getting ready to sign AD to a max contract. So Lakers versus refs and Heat. Lakers really going to be playing 5 versus 8 and win a chip. Looks like it. Devon, will you do an end of season recap and free agency show for the fans? You all have been great. Let me talk about this now. All right, let's talk. Because by this point, most of the family is still here and other people have just kind of have walked out. There we go. Dodgers up 2-1. Good. Let's keep the positive vibes going for that. So here's the idea. So here's what's going to happen. We don't know when the next season is going to be happening. So we're going to have a little bit of a break. So somewhere, once we get past this championship, we're all going to breathe for a minute, let the news kind of happen and cycle through. And then I'm going to do a few lives. And I'm going to bring you guys on. Okay? And the way it's going to work is I will just kind of hit you guys on Twitter. Or slide your DMs. Blake, I know you're on Twitter as well, I believe, and I will send you the instructions on how to get on, and we'll schedule it all, and we will do post game. We'll do like a post game show with obviously no game, and we're gonna do season recap. We're gonna look forward to the other things. I'm gonna bring some other guys in, and we're just gonna have a big family chat, and we're gonna be able to converse. Without the pressure of, man, we need one more win. So that's the way it's going to work. So if you don't follow me on Twitter, make sure you follow me. Let me go ahead and throw my stuff up now so that we're all clear on what I need from y'all. I need you guys to, look, what in the world? I need you guys to follow me right there at Devon Johnson. I need you guys to follow me because I'm going to be DMing you guys the instructions. But this is only after the season is over. So don't DM me tonight because I ain't going to remember it, okay? But we're going to hop on. We're going to live chat. I promise you it's very simple. It's going to be very easy. The instructions are not crazy. You don't need nothing but your cell phone. We're going to get on. We're going to chat. We're going to talk through some things. I'll give you the rules and all that stuff later. But we are going to do that. We're going to talk about free agency. We're going to talk about what we need to do. We're going to talk salary cap. We're going to do all that stuff, man. So we have plenty of stuff lined up for after the season. But right now, we're going to ride with what we got. LeBron and AD will three-peat. Here we go. Prophet D Million. Great point on Jason Kidd and Bron. That moment was special. It is, man. I think we forget, just what we have. Having a Phil Handy who's been to the finals, who was just in the finals, developed Kawhi. He even talked about that. What we have on this staff points back to the front office. The front office, part of the reason why Ty Lue did not sign as a coach was because the Lakers wanted to control the coaching staff. Ty Lue did not want that, and obviously the amount of years was something different as well. Vogel voted on himself. I mean, he bet on himself. And they already had a plan that, listen, we know that you're a defensive specialist, and we know Jason Kidd is an incredible point guard, and they just put together a staff that works. They went out and got a new health people. Brought him in to make sure these injuries didn't plague him like they did the previous years. And so as much as we talk about the players and the coaches, everything points back to this front office. And I think that when all this is said and done, we need to just celebrate Jeannie Buss, Kurt Rambis, Rob Pelinka. If you didn't catch the interview today, it's on Showtime Forum's Twitter. But if you haven't caught that today, Stephen A. Smith, Magic Johnson, Michael Wilbon talking today on SportsCenter, and Magic openly said you have to give credit to Pelinka for what he's been able to do with this roster. When we didn't get Kawhi, being able to sign Danny Green, everybody's going to talk about how much he costs, but that's the cost of last-minute signings. That's just what it costs, okay? being able to get that, being able to put together, getting Dwight Howard and working with Dwight Howard on a non-guaranteed contract when no one else would take him. When we didn't get the other Morris, but we got Markieff, and just being able to operate that stuff. That's part of the reason why we're here today. Glad LeBron is not hurt. LeBron will be his best on Friday. Triple-double for the MVP. Now, that I believe. LeBron is going to have a closeout Game 5 big, calling it now. 40, 16, and 12, says D Million. X Gaming Unlimited, yeah, that's who I want. Joe Harris. I think I went to U of A with Joe. I'll convince him to reunite with Bron. Cam Smith, bust it out, bro. Make that happen. Can't wait for that Lakers family chat. Absolutely. Absolutely. Guys, I don't even know if you guys realize how close we are. But this has been the longest NBA season ever, and I keep harping on that because I think we've forgotten that this is normally when the new season would start, and we're still playing the old season. And it all could come to an end on Friday. What I need us to do is to throw positive vibes. As much as they get rehab and they get worked on by the medical staff for their injuries and for their nicks and bruises and get rest, their mentality needs it. Danny Green has already openly spoken out about how tough it is for him mentally. And if you hear Danny Green saying that, then you already know other players are feeling it too. Imagine people like Quinn Cook, who comes and has been staying in the bubble and ain't seen the floor. He sees the floor maybe once every 7 games, but he has to be there constantly, over and over, going to practice, not playing, showing up. Let's make sure these next several days before this Game 5 are the greatest social media days they have ever had. Let's make sure that we throwing them positive comments, make sure that we're throwing them spirit bombs, man. Like, we want to flood their timelines and their DMs and their comment sections with nothing but positivity. We want their mind to be so geeked up, gassed up, ready to go, that when they walk onto that floor Friday night, they have one mission in mind, and that they're going to go in there and win this one, not just for Kobe, but for Laker Nation. So that's our assignment between now and Friday, is to do whatever we can to gas our dudes up. And then we can talk about getting rid of people afterwards. But as of right now, we ain't slandering nobody. We ain't talking crazy about nobody. We're not joining in on the conversations, even though some of them are funny. What we're looking for is to gas these dudes up. That's what we're trying to do. Preseason literally started a year ago today. That's crazy to think about. So close, guys. One more to go till then. Jom's not done. Handy was with Bron and Cleveland too. Good point. Gaming Unlimited as well. That's good to know. 5-1. This could be a gentleman's sweep final all the way through. I don't think that's ever happened in NBA Finals history, where it's been a gentleman's sweep every round going all the way into the finals and past the finals. So the Lakers could also, I'm almost positive that's never happened. But it's gonna be good. So listen, James White, I'm just checking in, but I agree with everything you said. Thank you, James. My brother from another mother, man. He texts me. He keeps me going, man. He left me a 2.5-minute message, a voicemail about the Lakers, man, and I love it. I can't tell him thank you enough for that. That made my day. Dodgers up 4-1. I'm telling you, man, it's happening. It's happening. It's happening. It's happening. So there it is, guys. I will see you guys on the next one. It's almost midnight my time in Houston, but Friday night, it could be our last post game of the season. And I still ain't decided if we're going to live watch together, but you just watch my Twitter feed and we'll make it happen. Until then, remember, guys, there's one more to go and the job's not done.